Alright guys, what's going on? This is Kevin the Full Metal Ginger, and recently I've just kind of had an idea to do something a little bit different. I know a lot of people like to give why they got into metal in the first place and that kind of thing, but I kind of thought I'd do something a little bit different and give you my entire history, so to speak. This is going to probably take a few videos to get through it all, and this is actually kind of inspired from that video everyone's seen of Fenris from Dark Throne doing the complete black metal history, at least from his perspective. But this is going to be my personal history of where I started and where I am today. Jamming some Nunslaughter, Devil's Conjuries, Volume 1. Yeah. I think it's just a collection of all their 7-inch songs. I think that's what this is. Awesome, man. Alright, I've also got a little cheat sheet, basically. I wrote this down a few days ago just to kind of give me something to go by, something to look off of so I don't forget anything important, which I'm fucking really bad at. And I really wanted to get like a chalkboard or a marker board to do this, but I'm getting this, so this is all you're going to get. I don't know how this is going to work, so let's give it a try. So, this is my personal history. This is going to encompass the years of between 98 and 2001, as you can see there. So, growing up, the only thing I really had to listen to was, my parents' music, which is like a lot of 70s hard rock, 80s rock, like those pop songs and shit. And, when I started getting into school, started hearing all the alternative music and shit from the 90s, which was fucking big. You really couldn't get away from it. But when I started getting into music, or thought I was getting into music, I really couldn't find anything I was looking for. I felt like, hip-hop didn't do it for me. Country definitely didn't do it for me. And, I just couldn't really find anything to sink my teeth into. But the one band that I did find, actually my buddy told me about this band, completely changed my life. Now, I'm going to be talking about a lot of bands on here that no one, or not no one, but, they might seem a little embarrassing. Some of these bands are definitely embarrassing to say I was fucking obsessive over back in my early teen years. But these bands are important, and, everyone's got those kind of bands that they're fucking embarrassed of, but they're important because they lead to something else and something else, and that's kind of what this whole video series is going to be, just to see the progression of where I started to where I am now. So, first band, a buddy told me about them, and it blew the doors open. That would be Korn. I remember he made me a mixtape one day and had a blind on there. And I was absolutely blown away by that, and from that day on, I became fucking obsessed with Korn. I'm going to try to draw this so you can see what I'm doing. You see that okay? This is probably going to be a sucky nut video. But that led to bands like Rob Zombie was one. He also put a song from him on the mixtape. There was Limp Bizkit. God damn it. We will get to the good stuff in another video, I promise. Oh, fuck. Power Man. 5000. What else did we have? Yeah. Those are like the three I really got introduced to early on. Until this one came along, which was Cold Chamber. Now this band is absolutely essential for me. They really opened up the doors for a lot of stuff for me, and it made me kind of realize what I was looking for. They had a fucking, I'll draw it down here, a ton of groove. If I can fucking spell it right. It was aggressive, more aggressive than anything I'd heard at that time, and it was very dark vibes, and it had harsh vocals sometimes. And as I've said in earlier videos, I was absolutely dumbstruck by this band. I don't know why it was. I mean, for those reasons, but they struck such a chord with me that I instantly just became a music fan, and knew that's what my calling was, to some degree at least. And looking back on it now, it made me see, I can see how I would get into death metal and black metal later on, because of you've got all this is my favorite things to listen to in music. You gotta have groove. It's gotta be heavy, aggressive, dark, and I love the harsh vocals. Now earlier on, it took me a while to get into those. I don't know why. I guess it was just an acquired taste for me. Death metal and black metal was an acquired taste for me. And that's why another reason why I'm doing this is to kind of show how I progressed into getting into those types of things. Oh, God, I should have prepared for this a little better. Sorry. Now, speaking of those bands, I don't know if any of you would remember, but I think it's Rockabilly now, but they used to be called Infinity One. And they are just like a merch distribution type of company. And before the internet was super prevalent, they used to send out catalogs of everything they had. I mean, they had shirts upon shirts, fucking mugs, I mean, pretty much anything you can get now. And that's how I found out about a lot of bands that I'm about to show you here. Now, the problem was, these bands were on the periphery. I knew who they were, at least in terms of reading them in that catalog, but my local record stores never carried any of that stuff. So I never knew where to find it. So it was years later before I actually heard any of these bands. So basically I had to go with what I had. And I didn't grow up with any money either. So, when you have some money to spend on a record, you're not necessarily going to go for something you don't know. At least I didn't. I kind of wish I had taken a chance. But most of the time I just went with what I was into. What I knew was good, or what my friends told me was good. And that led, after Cold Chamber, kind of digressed there a little bit. It was Tool. Tool was huge for me. I remember listening to the Opiate EP thousands of times. I still have it here somewhere. Burn copy. But from these three, Korn, Cold Chamber, and Tool, they were probably the main three early on in my life of music that really opened up the doors for everything else. And this is what they led to. Oh, I don't want to write these down. But I got to. If you haven't noticed already, like I said, this was 98 to 01, so right in the fucking pinnacle of nu metal, that whole fucking phase. And I was a part of it. But like I said, I didn't have the money, or even if I would have, none of my local record stores carried anything really extreme. And being a little religious turd had a lot to do with it, but that's neither here nor there. Alright. Now, obviously, I can't cover every single band. I would like to, but we're not going to have enough time, and I'm going to have to delve deep into the recesses of my memory to think of them all. I don't want to do that. So, Korn, Cold Chamber, and Tool led to Spineshank, Seven Dust, fuck is that? Godsmack, Slipknot, and Static X. And it was at this point, this is probably late 2000, early 2001, I'm still listening to this stuff, and I'm starting to get burnt out on it. I'm starting to look for something heavier. All throughout my music listening life, from this point on, I was constantly looking for something heavier, something more extreme. And it was a good thing I knew about these bands. I just never knew where to find them. So, I at least had that going for me. I knew what I wanted, but I never knew how to get it. I guess I could have ordered it, you know, on those mail order things, but yeah, good luck doing that with my mommy. So, I forgot. Well, God damn it. I forgot one. Oh, I hate mentioning some of these bands, but sometimes it has to happen. Alright, Disturbed was on there too. Now, like I said, looking for something heavier. So, getting to about late 2001, I'm really getting sick of everything I listen to, and this band blows the fuck up with a album that was released that year. And I messed that up for some reason. Misspelled it. System of a Down released their Toxicity album. And that was fucking huge. Everybody I knew had that album in my circle of friends. And this is before it became so fucking blown out of proportion. We listened to that fucking constantly. And a big part of my progression also, I'm trying not to digress, I'm sorry. A big part of my progression also was the fact that, you know, all these bands I was listening to, people would be telling me, oh, why you listen to that crap for, you know, and it felt good. It's like, yeah, fuck you can't stand this shit. And then they would start listening to it. Man, this is awesome, have you heard this? And I'm like, where the fuck have you been? You know, I've went from here all the way over here, and you're still starting back here. And you used to make fun of me for it. So that was another thing, too, about trying to find more extreme music, just so I could get away from that crap, because people would play the songs I'd already heard 3,000 times, and I was already sick of them, and pissed me off even more to the point where I hated the bands. So System of a Down comes along. Absolutely love that. Listen to that constantly. Until that fucking exploded with all their videos and shit. And by the grace of Satan, I discovered this band. This band is the last most important band in this video, particularly. That I would be fucked without them. A friend of mine let me borrow a Soulfly album, and holy God, it blew me away. Max Cavalera's vocals were harsh the entire time. I don't want to say guttural, but you know, it was screaming vocals, and he never sang. Everything else on here, they would kind of scream a little bit and then sing a lot of the time, so I had that balance. But this was the first band that took me out of my comfort zone and made me listen to that all the way through with just those types of vocals. So that was a major milestone when I got this. Actually, the first album I heard was The Primitive, and goddamn, I couldn't tell you how many times I listened to that on the ride home from school. So, Soulfly being very, very huge for me really paved the way for all the stuff I was about to get into in the next few years. So, horrible fucking video, I know. I'm just trying to do something a little different, but this is my new metal phase. And now, like I said, this isn't every band, and I won't do every single band for all these videos. It's probably going to take another 4 to finish these, but this is just what I was going through from junior high into early in high school. So this was definitely the start. This is the foundation which I laid all of my music I listen to on now, because without listening to these bands first, I don't think I would have got into anything extreme. So embarrassing as they are very important, and probably wouldn't be where I am now without them. So that's part 1, 98 to 2001 years. If you like this video, hopefully I can knock some more of these out. I thought this would turn out a little better, but this is, I don't know. You guys you guys make the decision on that. So thank you guys so much for watching and bearing with me on this shit fest. So I will try to knock some more of these out. So I'm blabbing and running my mouth. So I said so 5,000 times. Oh, and this pen will get you higher in hell. I'm going to get off here before I can't stop running my mouth. So thank you guys. I'll see you again.